Hey guys, it's Maymay. If there's one thing I never have enough of at Christmas, it's gift card holders and tags for presents. So I thought today I would combine one, and I'm going to take this opportunity to use up some scraps because I got a lot. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to build my tags around this stamp. This is called the Tag Builder set. We do have this in store. And this little stamp is so cute to me. It looks like a little piece of gingerbread. I'm going to use this as my main design. And what I've done is I've made a template. This piece is 3 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and I've scored it at 4 3/8. Now you might think, why would you need a template for this? Here's what I know about me. I'm going to sit down and start to work on these, and I'm going to get some done, and then I'm going to walk away and come back later and want to do more. And this way, I just can grab this template and just keep going. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use this with the stamp in a second. But first, I told you I want to dig into my scraps. Let me show you why I wanted this first. So if you haven't met Ben, this is Ben, and Ben is getting too full. And as a matter of fact, I actually have more bins now than I used to. So we need to start digging into some of this goodie. And let me show you, this is one of these plastic storage dealies that we have. And you can see there's all kinds of scraps in here. This one has been a little neglected. I've thrown a lot into it. So what I want to do using this guy is find my scraps. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to reach in and pull out a piece, and I'm going to see if this will work, and that piece will work. So I'm going to put him aside. Then I'm going to grab another piece. And that's the reason I wanted this guy early, or early in the process, so I could see. I know I can get one out of this. I probably won't get two, but I know that'll get me one. So I'm going to keep digging through the scraps like this just until I find enough. Now this piece is shiny. Do you see that? That's not a problem, except I'd have to change my ink to use this one because this is a non-porous surface. So I don't want to use that one today because I also want to spend my time wisely and do things kind of in mass production. Look at that one. This is a good reason. This is exactly what I'm saying. This piece I might have ignored because I would have thought it was too small, but it's actually perfect, and I can use that one up. So this is what I'm going to get out of my bin that is full of colored cardstock. Now, you might be thinking, Maymay, that's not a scrap. But honestly, I have this habit. If I cut something off of a page, it goes into scrap rather than back into the packaging. It's just kind of how I do things. You'll find your flow with scraps. This is just how mine works. Now, notice I'll be able to get multiples out of here, and that's a good thing. Now, I barely scratched the surface of that bin, but that's okay. We're going to go from that one to my white cardstock bin. And this is that one. Now, it's a little bit different. These are kind of smaller pieces because I cut white down a lot, and I usually dig into this bin before I start a project every time. So like, for example, that is clearly not going to work, but let's just dig in and see. So I've got a lot of that size. This guy might work. Ooh, I'm just going to make him work. That's cool. So I'll be able to get rid of that one. I was just saying the other day, my white scraps are not as large as usual. They're very small. It feels like I've used a lot of my bigger pieces, so I don't have a lot in here I'm going to be able to use. But I did find this stack sneakily snuck down in the bottom of there, and this shouldn't have been. This should have been in the other bin, but that's cool because there's a lot of them, and this will be a great project for this. I love craft color at Christmas, so this will be perfect. Now, as you can guess, that didn't make a dent. I mean, honestly, it did not make a dent, but that's okay. I'm not afraid of my scraps. I use them a lot, so I don't mind having them because I really do. When I do any project, not just like this, I dig into my scraps first, unless it's decorator cardstock. Then I use my decorator cardstock and I dig into my scraps to go with that. So let's cut this down to as many as I can get out of it. So these are the kind of projects I love. I say this all the time. Crafters craft for Christmas, not at Christmas. Now, that doesn't mean you can't craft at Christmas. Sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, are you saying we're not allowed to? No. What I'm saying is we typically craft for the holidays, like to make projects. We rarely craft at Christmas. We're usually decorating and doing all the baking and stuff like that. So whenever there's a project like this that you can just sit down early, I mean, it's July. You can sit down and just kind of start to work. At Christmas, you're going to be so glad you did this because you will not be last minute trying to whip up a gift card or find a way to give somebody a present. And you can put these into your gift wrap container or wherever you do your gift wrapping and always have a quick, easy gift card holder or cash holder. If you need to give cash, it'll work for that too. All right, let me get to cutting. Okay, I was able to get this stack. Look how many I'm going to be able to make. Also, as a bonus, when I was cutting, this strip was coming away, and this is 3x4. So what I'm going to do is turn this into photo mats for a future folio project. That's a lot of little 3x4 mats. That will be perfect. So I'll get out my 3x4 stamp and do that. So happy accident, bonus project, right? Okay, let's go to the scoreboard with these guys. Now, in order to fit the stamp set I'm using, I need to score this at 4 3/8. And I know we don't love to do eights, but this scoreboard marks it for us. So it's pretty easy to do a score mark that way. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run through and score all of these guys at that little mark. And I would count these now and tell you how many we're going to get, but more than likely I will make a mistake somewhere and we'll lose one or two because that's just how it happens, and I don't really stress about that. I probably will miss stamp or something will happen, and we'll count at the end how many I get out of the scrap bin. Along the same lines of mass production, some of your cardstock is going to be thick enough you can lay it side by side and just score them at the same time. So that way I'm getting 2 tags scored at once, so that's cool. So I got all of those scored. Now I need to fold them and crease them. Now, because I'm going to be stamping a different way than usual, I'm going to really crease this down nice and tight. What I mean by that is I want to stamp on top of this lift because I'm going to use that to my advantage as a pocket. So all of these guys, I need to fold them and really spend a second creasing them so they'll lay pretty flat. It's not like, if you can't get it super, super flat, it's not going to really mess up the end product. But the flatter you can get it, the better. So I'm going to run through and crease all of these guys down on their fold. And then we'll go to the next step. Now I'm going to use what is one of my new favorite punches. I love this little thumb punch. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to take one of these guys and I'm going to find the center. I don't always do this, but where this is going and how we're going to use it, if we're off center, it's a little obvious. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my ruler. Let me put something under here so you can see it. So I'm going to use this piece so you can see what I'm doing. I've got this piece here and I'm just using this white cardstock so you can see my ruler through it. This is the shorter end of our scored area. This is actually the tag size. So I want to punch down here, okay? So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to center it along the bottom. And the way I'm doing this, my ruler has a 0 in the middle here. So you just want to put 0 down and then get the same measure on either side. And you can see here that I'm at 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, and that's going to work perfect. And now I'm just going to take something to mark it with and put a mark right in the center. Now, you can go as far as to measure that little slot and then make your marks for the slot, but you don't really have to. This gets close enough. Now what I'm going to do is flip this guy over where I'm looking at the punch itself, and I'm going to put that little mark in the center. And it may not be exact, but we can get it much closer this way than without making a mark. So there's our little thumb place. Now what I'm going to do is just lay this guy on top of everything else and use him as my template rather than having to do the marking over and over again. And I'm going to run through and punch every one of them. Now that I've got all of these guys scored, creased, punched, what I'm going to do is glue these shut before I stamp them. I think that will be easier. So I'm just going to take my glue press and I'm going to run some glue right down this side on the bottom side of the score line. You see that? And then right down this side. We're just going to close this bottom up. Now I'm using glue here and not sticky tape because glue will dry. You put sticky tape in there, when you slide your gift card in, it'll get caught on the sides. And I didn't leave myself a super, super big amount of space. I'll show you what the gift card will look like in here. So if you put it in like this, you see you've got some space, but I didn't leave a whole big amount. So you want to just make sure you put, a thin line of glue, but it's enough. And I'm going to run through and glue all of these guys shut. All right, I know it's July, but how many of you have watched a Christmas movie already? I have been so tempted. I have listened to some Christmas radio shows because I've been doing some sewing. So I've been in my sewing room doing that, but I have not watched a Christmas movie yet, but I am very, very tempted. So here we go. So far, I have 24 of these guys. If I don't mess up stamping, we'll end up with 24. gift tag holders. All right, so I have my stamp wheel out, and what I'm going to do is use this piece that is the A2 card guide. It's an alignment guide that you can get to go with your stamp wheel. And yes, I used alcohol marker on there, so I messed that up. It won't come off, but it's all right. It still works. Now I have loaded, I want to show you, I have loaded 3 stamp wheels. This is why I like having the extras, because it's going to make mass production so easy. So I have those off to the side. We're going to start with the tag. And I may need to move this. I don't know. I'm going to see if it'll work for these. I loaded it up here just kind of as a test. But let's put this little guy down and see if it's going to load, if it's in the right spot. And see, by using that alignment guide, I know exactly where to place them every time. Let's just see. All right, he might be okay. Let me lift him up where I can see. I think he's in a pretty good spot. So we're going to ink that up. Now, here's the thing. The reason I wanted to use either my stamp wheel or my Misty or whatever you've got is because this tag has this little bump here, right? So when I'm inking, I may have to ink multiple times to get that solid, but I think we're going to be okay. And I'm going to do this one in red. I want to do this white tag in red, and I may do my craft ones in red. We'll see. So I'm going to use VersaClear here, and I'm using the color Glamorous. Now, when you're using any stamp, but especially these tag stamps, a lot of times we have to leave a little bit more polymer inside than I like. Just be sure that is all pressed down and you're not inking it, because if you get ink where you don't want it, you're going to get ink where you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get that all inked up. I need to get my ink banded out too. All right, so lay this down. And I've been using my Impressible on this. I get really good even pressure that way. And I especially want to work over that little fold. So see, it's not bad at all, and I could let that ride, but I think I'm going to do it one more time and kind of focus on that spot. So just here and here. And it was funny, I could actually see where the ink was still on the stamp. All right, so we're going to put this back down, and I'm going to press more in those areas. Much better. Isn't that cute? All right, so I'm going to peel that guy off. I've been using one of my spatulas to help me. This one is good, or your plastic one will really help. That works real easy to do that. So there's that guy. Let's see what the red looks like on here. By going ahead and gluing this down, it holds it in place for you to stamp. So let's see how we feel about the red. Oh, I think it's cute. All right, I'm going to do all of these in red that I can, and then I'll switch to other colors as I need to. So I got all of these stamped in the red, and then the other colors, the blue and the red, I did in black, which I think turned out cute as well. So now what I'm going to do is go back and do my sentiment stamping. Now, you can do this all in one pass. I decided not to because I kind of like to keep that muscle memory going so I don't mess up. So I did one step to start with. But because I have these double loaded, I'll show you what I mean. Whatever color I want to stamp a gift for you in, and I think I'll do it in, I'm going to do it in red because I'm going to do the word enjoy in black. So I'm just going to do that, and then this guy is already set up to go. So a gift for you. And then while I'm here, because I'm using 2 different ink colors, I think I can handle this. I'm going to take my word enjoy, and all this is from that same stamp set, and go ahead and stamp this one. Cute. All right, so that's what I'm going to do for the next round, and then I'll change these colors up based on my colors of cardstock as well. So all of my stamping is done, and now I'm just going to do one little thing here. Actually, I may do 2. I'm going to cut this away. When we designed this tag set, we did it so that all you had to do was do this little snip right here, and then the tag stamp would look like you had a die to cut it out. And you don't have to do anything but that, and it's so quick and easy. So I'm going to run through all of them and cut those little corners off to get our tag shape. And I also think while I'm at it, I'll show you really quick, I think I'm going to round the bottom corners. I think this looks cute. If you use your corner rounder and use the 1/4 inch side, it just kind of adds something to the bottom to do that little round. So I'm going to do that on all of them as well. Now that I've got my corners snipped and my bottoms rounded, I'm going to take my crocodile and I'm going to poke a hole. Now you can poke it right where the little stamp is designed for you to do that, or you can use the bigger hole and like make it a bigger if you want to put like ribbon or something through, you can make it a bigger hole than what we have on the stamp. I'm just going to go right where the stamp is or where the stamp made the hole. And the reason is I'm just going to use some baker's twine through these. This is just how I like to do this. You can get as fancy as you want with this, but I like to just take a piece of baker's twine and run it through. And what I did here was I ran a loop through, and then I'll just pick up the tails and send it through just like that. And that gets me ready for when I want to give this as a gift. Now this piece here is about 15 inches because I don't know how I'm going to place it. If I'm going to tie it on a gift bag, if I'm going to put it on a card, which by the way, you could put this on the front of a card. You can just tie a bow up here and then use it on the front of a card as like a little piece of ephemera or like a focal point, and they'll still have a gift card in it. But on the backs, I'm not going to do anything yet. The reason is I've made so many of these. These could be birthday, they could be Christmas, they could be any occasion. And this gives me a chance to maybe use other stamps and decorate back here, especially to use the to and from. And this set in particular has several to choose from. You have this set you can choose from, this set. There's more in here. There's like little handwritten ones. So there's a lot of to and froms on here that you can use if you'd like. So this is how I want to get mine prepped and ready. Then when I'm ready to give it, I can just put a gift card in or cash or a note. And that's so cute. It looks like it's made to fit right inside that little stitched square. Love that. All right, let me put the string into all of them. All right, so I actually ended up with 25 tags because, look, I squeezed this one out too. I thought this one was really cute with all the holiday colors, and then I inked the edges. So isn't this awesome to have 25 gift card tags ready to go for the season? I'll pull the red ones out so you can see them. So while I was making them, I was thinking, you guys know I love local businesses, right? So wouldn't it be cool if you went to your local coffee shop or your local little breakfast place or something like that, and you picked up a gift card and then maybe a mug from that restaurant or a mug from that location and tied this little guy to the mug handle with a gift card and gave it as a gift? I think that'd be so cute. What other ways can you see using this? What would you tie it on with a little gift card? I'd love to know. All right, I'm telling you, craft now. You get this stuff done now, you'll be so much happier the end of the year when everything's crazy and it's busy, and you'll have at least 25 of these guys that you can hand out. Hey, thanks so much for being here. If you enjoy gift card videos, we're going to link some gift card videos from past years that I've done. We have so many ideas for gift card giving, so I'll make sure to link those for you, as well as my latest video. Hey, thanks for being here. Until next time, bye now.